Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Knitting with Annie. I'm Annie Lepton of Boho Chic Fiber Co. and I'm glad you're joining me today. It is Tuesday right now. Hopefully I'll be able to release this by tomorrow. And today I have a few things to chat with you about. I have a couple questions that I've gotten and I wanted to go over some new pattern releases that I released today. These shawls here, and this is a re-release that I'll talk about a little bit later. And just a couple little fun styling things and stuff that I wanted to go over too. So yeah, thanks and welcome back. And as always, you can subscribe by hitting that little bell in the corner below the video. And you can leave me messages or questions through the link below, or just on the comments below is totally fine as well. So yeah, let's get into it. So let's see. Today, normally I work really hard towards the beginning of the week and kind of like slowly taper my workload out to the end, so it's a little bit less crazy towards the end. Mondays are always my like really get stuff done work day. So yeah, yesterday was basically that. Tuesdays I usually go pretty hard too, but the news this past like through the weekend and like into, through now has been like very overwhelming and just emotionally hard. And so I find it really hard to find a balance of like being informed and not like overloading with the news. So I'm trying to today, I'm sure I'll still watch more than I should, but just take a step back and a deep breath and allow myself to just kind of take care of myself a little bit more today, and maybe research ways that I can like help with what's going on and stuff. So I don't feel so defeated. It's hard. It's very distracting to me when I'm having like an emotionally hard reaction to something to like focus on work. So all that being said, I got these patterns released this morning. I'm doing this video now, and I'm gonna kind of take it a little easier the second half of the day. I'll probably walk my dog, and I'm in the middle of making bread, so I'll bake that later, and just do some simple knitting and stuff. So I hope wherever you are that you are getting through the craziness, and as always, that your knitting is bringing you a little bit of comfort and joy through just your daily struggles and stuff. So yeah, and hopefully if you're joining me, this will be a little bright spot in your day as well. So yeah, I'm gonna have a sip of my coffee and then we'll dive right in. So the first question that I had was about cropped designs. I do design a lot of cropped sweaters. This one, for example, is one. Why I like doing them, I personally just really enjoy the way a crop sweater fits. I'm kind of short, I'm like 5'3", and so I like the way they look on me, I like the way they feel. I like to do a lot of layering when I get dressed, and so crop sweaters are just fun. I like the way they fit on me. So that's why I design them a lot, but they are super easy to modify and to add length in the body. It's very easy to do. So the question that I got was, someone was wondering if I could give them directions on how to make it longer. They wanted to know how much more yarn they would need to extend their cropped sweater to a longer length. Sorry. So, oops, sorry about that. Okay, so I don't know if you could hear my phone just rang. Anyway, so yeah, so when I get questions like this, I typically do not do the work to give people specific answers for specific patterns. It can be a lot of work. It's like someone asking, can you modify this sweater from fingering weight to worsted weight, and like tell me how to do that. It's way more complicated than just like, oh, just do this. It could be like basically like writing a whole pattern over again. This isn't quite that amount of work, but it's, you know, it's more work. And so typically I will tell somebody how to do it, or just give them like, just buy, usually what I would do is just buy like another skein or two of yarn based on how much I have left and how much more I want to knit. I would just estimate it and buy more. But I can teach you how to do it if you wanted to do the math and have like a more precise number. So let's say you have like this sweater or something else and you want to add like 6 inches or something to the bottom to make it more of a regular length. What you need to do is you're going to have to do some math to figure out how many yards per square inch of fabric is on the finished design. So to do that, I have some notes here so I don't get lost. What you're going to be doing is you can look at the pattern and see how many yards for the size that you're knitting, the specific size. So you have that number. And then what you're going to do is you're going to figure out how many, approximately, it doesn't have to be perfect, but how many, what's like the square inches of the garment. So for example, you want the length of the body. So I'm not sure how much this one is. Let's say it's like 14 or something. So like the length of the body multiplied by the width of the body, which is usually the bust measurement. You multiply that number out, and then you're going to do the same thing for the sleeves. So my sleeves are usually about 18 inches long. And then what I do is, because it tapers in, I make it simple and I just go by like the upper arm circumference. So like 18 times 13 or 12 or whatever this upper arm number is. You'll have that number plus the body number. You're going to add those together, and that's going to give you your total square inches of the garment as it's written in the pattern. When you get that number, you're going to want to compare that with your yardage number. So it's not going to be exactly the same. It could go either way. One could be more, one could be less, depending on the weight and how big of needles are used. What you're going to do to figure out your yardage per square inch is you're going to take the yardage number and you're going to divide it by the area number, the other number, where you multiply things out. So you'll divide that number by the area number, and what you're going to get is a very small number. Most likely it's usually like 1 point something or like point something something, you know, like it's a very small number. That number is going to be your yards per square inch. Like I said, usually it's like 1.12 something, or it might be like 0.89. It's usually around 1 on either side. So that number is going to tell you how many yards of your yarn were in a square inch of the pattern as it's written in the pattern. Once you have that number, you're just going to figure out how much more you want to add on. So let's say you want to add 6 inches to the bottom. So you're going to do the same thing as you did for the area before. You're going to do that 6 inches times the width, the circumference. So like whatever your bust is, 40 inch, whatever, times the 6 inches. That's a new square inch number that you have. And you're going to multiply that by your answer from the last one, the 1 point something or the point something something number. When you multiply that out, that's going to give you approximately how many yards you should need to complete that last section of inches. So then you can go and you can look and see how much yardage you have left over from the pattern, from just knitting it, and then how many more skeins you think you would need to order. And I think it's pretty simple. If that was like super confusing to you, I had recommended that Shirley Padden book, Designing Knitwear, in the past, and I think in that book she walks you through how to calculate what I just did. This is how I calculate yardage for the different sizes. Like I will do that whole system and I will figure out the yards per square inch of the sample that I knit, and then I will apply that to all the different sizes in a garment that I'm grading out. So I believe it's in that book, and you could probably do a Google search as well. But if you want to be specific, that's how you would go about doing it. And always err on the side of ordering a little bit more yarn rather than less, so you don't run out. But like I said, I would probably just be lazy and get 1 or 2 more skeins depending on what I think would work based on the pattern. So yeah, so I hope that's helpful. And yeah, so that's for cropped sweaters. Like I said, I love cropped sweaters. I have tons of them. My first ever design, which I think I have right here, is my first ever sweater design is Macomb, and this is it right here. And this was cropped. This was back in 2015, and I designed this one with my hand spun yarn. And I just, even back then, I mean, it's been years now since I started designing, but I've just always loved the fit of a crop sweater. So yeah, that was Macomb. And yeah, and then the other thing people will always ask is, you know, they'll say, I like the idea of a crop sweater, but I just don't know how to wear it, like how to style it. So I actually have been doing more of the reels on Instagram lately. I don't know if you know what those are, but they're like the little video clips that you can set to music. And I don't know if I posted it yet, so I think I made it and I didn't post yet, but I'll be posting it soon. I'm doing one showing off different ways to style crop sweaters, because I always get asked that. Like, you know, people just don't feel comfortable, I guess. You know, they think it'll show off their stomach funny or something. But I have had 3 kids and I get it. But there's totally ways to like make it fit and feel comfortable, and to not feel shy if you're nervous about like your midsection kind of showing. There's totally ways to get around that. And so yeah, so I made a reel for that. It should be coming on Instagram soon. But I did actually bring down some outfits today to kind of show you how I would do it with this one here. Like, let's say I was trying to style, this one is the Wash Ashore Pullover. And so yeah, so I'll go grab all of those and show you all the different ways I like to style, and specifically some things from my wardrobe that I thought kind of matched this one well. So I'll be right back. All right, so here's some stuff from my wardrobe that I wear all the time, and I'll show you kind of how I would style Wash Ashore if I wanted to show you different outfits for it. So the first one is actually the dress that I wore in the photo shoot. If you get the pattern or see it on Ravelry, you'll see it's layered over top of this dress here. This is like a really super oversized dress that has kind of a high waist. It's really gathered. And when you layer this on top, the sweater comes to like right here, so you can see that nice gather. The main way I like to wear them is crop sweaters over dresses. So this one works great. I love the colors together, so that's one. I brought down a couple other dresses too. I think I like mixing patterns and prints, but if that doesn't make you, if you're not like comfortable with that, you could go with solids. But I have this maxi length dress that I wear a lot that I think the print is simple enough that it could go with this just fine. I would wear this in the winter and just put some like leggings and boots on underneath. As you can see right now, I'm wearing just like a little summer dress underneath. And then I have one more dress. This is another one with a print, and it's shorter, it's more for summer, but I like the blues, I think would go nice together. So I would totally wear this layered on top of this dress as well. And I would probably wear it I could wear it in the summer, but I probably more likely would wear it in the winter with leggings under and like some boots too. So that's the first way I like to style my crops. The second way is over jumpsuits, which it may be my even more favorite than over dresses, but if not, it's a close second. So I really love jumpsuits. I've always liked them. I'm really glad they're like popular. So this is one of a linen jumpsuit that I have. It's like loose fitting, comfy, nothing, super exciting on its own, but when I will layer my crop sweaters on top of it a lot. And it has some pockets in the front, which I like. So when you layer it, it kind of comes to here. You can still see some of the buttons. It's just super comfy. In the winter, I usually wear like a long sleeve under it, and maybe I can wear cardigans and stuff too, but it's perfect for crop sweaters. And another jumpsuit that I brought down is another linen one, but this one is a little bit more almost like a dress. It's gathered in a similar way. I like dresses that have a gathering kind of under the bust area. So this one is kind of like a olivey tone, which I think could go nicely with this blue as well. It's very loose on the bottom and flowy and comfy. So yeah, I wear a lot of crop sweaters with these as well. So we got dresses, we have jumpsuits. The other thing I would say that's great for crop sweaters is anything high-waisted. So if you have high-waisted jeans that you like, doesn't matter the fit, they could be wide, skinny, whatever. Or I have a few, these are pants that are high-waisted, but they're really loose. They almost look like a skirt when you wear them. So this, I could totally wear with this. And then I also have a high-waisted skirt here that's brown and matches everything that I have and has pockets in it. And this one I wear with also with a lot of my crop sweaters. So those are great to wear. And then the last thing I brought down is, my idea was like shorter skirts. So like what I have on today is like just like a cotton dress. But in the winter I will often I'll wear like this little dress or tunic kind of length. Like maybe on their own, they would be more of like a mini skirt and you wouldn't necessarily want to wear them without leggings, depending on your preference. I do have some that are like kind of short and I wouldn't necessarily want to wear alone. This is like a little, it's called like a ruffle slip. It's like a short tunic dress kind of thing with this ruffle on the bottom. And I'll wear it over leggings, and this is super cute with crop sweaters because it kind of just looks like a dress, but then there's this little detail here. So yeah, so I really like layering. I have a lot of fun with layering. During the day when I'm home, I don't always like pick out cute outfits and stuff, but you know, if I ever go out, less these days, but you know, I try to dress up at home sometimes when I can just to feel better. Sometimes it feels nice just to wear like real clothes. Yeah, so I love crop sweaters. I love them for layering. I hope that this was helpful to you. And I will plan to put that reel up if it's not up already. I have to check. So keep your eyes open for that. I did that reel with a different crop sweater. So like these ones you can see, I think at least kind of match this blue and look good with it. I used a different sweater, a different cropped one that is like an off-white color. It's called Winter Surf, and it's like a cropped off-white kind of lacy all over drop shoulder sweater, and I layered that one over different dresses and kind of the same thing as here, just different pieces. So I'll be sure to post that soon so you can see that one as well. Let me put these back real quick. So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed that little show and tell. And I hope that you knit some crop sweaters. And again, if you like a pattern and you just don't feel right about the crop, you can totally just lengthen it yourself. You can follow that little tutorial I gave you, or look online for maybe someone has a better, easier way to do it. So yeah, so that's that. And then I just wanted to talk, I had one kind of fun question that I wanted to answer that I got like on Instagram, and then I was going to talk a little bit about test knitting. So one second. So the fun little question that I got was, did I have any pandemic purchases? I know a lot of people, the past year and a half has been nuts, and people, you know, your life's been really different. Mine at least has, since the pandemic started. And people are wondering, like, have you treated yourself to anything kind of special that you may not have gotten before? That sort of thing. I have a few friends who got like really nice playgrounds for their kids put in their yards, and we didn't do that because our kids are a little older and we don't quite have the space for it. But that sort of thing, like maybe they wouldn't have gotten it before, but now considering they're home so much, people want to know like what was your little pandemic purchases. And I do have a couple that I wanted to share that I just thought would be fun. Not knitting related, but great nonetheless. So the first one is, it's actually over in that corner. Maybe I can show you. Over there, my dog's eating, but that's our Peloton bike. And so sorry about that. So like I mentioned in a previous episode, the way that I kind of manage my anxiety and just kind of feel good on a daily basis is getting exercise in. And when we were in Michigan, I was running, and also I would do hot yoga several times a week. When we moved to Cape Cod, there wasn't a yoga studio that I found that was like close enough that I like cared to go to. And so I was running a little, but I don't love running, so it wasn't super consistent. So we had been talking, or I had been like asking my husband if we could get a Peloton bike for a while, and we decided that once like the lockdown came and we were at home and I was home with the kids like all day when it first happened last like March or whenever it was. And we realized like I'm gonna be home with the kids like through the rest of the year and through the summer. He said, go for it, let's get it, I know it'll help you. So we did, and it's just made getting exercise so much easier, so much more fun than running. Like if you're a runner and you love it, good, like that's amazing. I just have a hard time like sustaining, I don't know. It's not my favorite. I can run like 4 or 5 miles, but it's just not my favorite. So this is just a way that I can exercise early in the morning or even in the evening or at night if I need to. Like today I got up early and I got on the bike before my kids even got dressed and ready. They were like having their cereal and watching a show, and I just like got it in, and then I just felt so much better to start the day. So that's one thing that I 100% we got because of the pandemic, and am so happy about. The other thing we got was actually related to my coffee here. Another thing that I feel like it's just me asking my husband for things, but another thing that I have like always wanted was an espresso machine. And I always had this kind of funny, I always wanted to be a barista. I still, part of me would like love to be a barista and really learn how to do it. I just love coffee. I love coffee shops. And before the pandemic, I would go to a coffee shop once, usually just like once a week, maybe occasionally twice, but usually it was just like once a week. And I would get a coffee and a snack and sit there for a few hours and like get a lot of work done. I find the background noise and chatter is really helpful for work, and I just love coffee, and it was like a way to get out of the house and not just be stuck like alone in the house all day. Well, once the pandemic came, I wasn't going out. I still, we have gone out a few times now that we're vaccinated and stuff, but we don't really go out and like hang out places like, we used to. So, we got an espresso maker, kind of a base, I guess, intermediate level. It's nothing ridiculous, but I use it every day now and I love it. It kind of is like a way for me to feel like I'm treating myself, and I just love it. So what I'll do is usually I'll have like a regular cup of coffee in the morning, and then later in the day I'll make either like a warm latte like this one or an iced latte. And it kind of gives me something to look forward to, especially in the beginning when it was like things were really dark and we didn't know what was going on, and it was very scary, and I was just like home alone with the kids all the time. It was like really hard. And it kind of gave me just a way to be like, okay, this is something like from my previous life that I enjoyed, and it is a way to bring like a little bit of like joy into an otherwise like mundane, maybe difficult kind of a day. And I don't use it every single day, but most days I do. So that was totally a great purchase as well. And then the last one, I guess, is our dog. We got her. She's about to turn a year old, but we got her last October, so not quite a year yet. but we had a dog before, so she's not like a true pandemic dog. Like, I know a lot of people got pets never having had them before. So we did have a dog before, but he passed away maybe a year and a half before we got her, maybe 2 years, I can't remember exactly. But we took a break from dogs and then we were ready, and she's also brought like so much more joy, like in the midst of a hard time. And puppies are a lot. We got her as a puppy. It was a lot at first, but totally worth it. We love her so much, and she's brought a lot of joy into our house. And you know, it's nice to have something to bring you a little joy, you know, when you're going through hard stuff. So those are my pandemic purchases. If you made any fun pandemic purchases that you want to share, like, go ahead and leave a comment below. It might be fun for other people to see. You know, if you got a playground or a trampoline or something fun, you know, it'd be great to see what you guys got as well. So yeah, before we go, I always have people question me about test knitting, and they want to know how I run my test knits, can they be a part of test knitting and all that. I am pretty low-key about test knitting. What I do is I have a running email list of everyone who has ever test knit with me and whoever is potentially interested in test knitting in the future. And I'm going to include that link below. So if any of you think you might be interested, you can definitely just click on the link and sign up. And those emails I maybe send out just once or twice a month, and they're very specific. What I'll do is I'll send a picture of the design that I'm talking about, and I'll give all the specs for the pattern, like the yarn that it requires, little intro about it and that sort of thing. And if anyone, they can check it out, everyone on that list. And then if anyone is interested in test knitting, all I ask is that you email me back your Ravelry and Instagram names and the size you want to test knit. And I try to get as many testers as I can per design. So if something is in sizes, I don't mind having multiple people knit the same size. If it gets to be like a crazy amount, like everybody wants to knit size 2, then I'll have to cut it off. But usually I can take most people who apply. And then all I basically do is I will send out, if anyone has questions on something in the pattern, if it's confusing or if they find an error. Usually there's not too many errors because my tech editor does see them before I send it to testers. But if they do find an error, they can email me and I will send out an update to all the test knitters that an error was found and correcting it. And then all I ask is that you have it done by the specific date that I list in the email, and that for the release, you have some photos ready. It's great if people can have photos of it on them. If you want to just hang it on a hanger, that's okay too. But I like to have some photos ready. It helps me on the release date if multiple people can be sharing their projects. So that's really helpful. And also that they make a Ravelry page. And I give kind of instructions for how to link it up and everything. So it's really, like I said, I'm really low key. I don't do much. Some people will have like chats and stuff going on in between knitters. I send an email to everyone at one point, and if you wanted, you're welcome to like email with other people, but I don't really facilitate that so much, but people are welcome to chat and stuff. I used to run it on my Ravelry group, but I've just found that it's easier to like more directly send it out to the people who are specifically interested, and then they can always see it. They don't have to check Ravelry and stuff. So yeah, so if you're interested in ever test knitting something, I usually give a window of like 2 months or 2 months, 2.5 months for a sweater, maybe a shorter time if it's thicker, or if it's a shawl, it might be a month, but usually it's around 2 months or so, and it's usually plenty of time for people. Most people finish pretty early, and then they're kind of like waiting on it until the release, and then, you know, there's usually some people that something came up and they couldn't finish, which is no big deal. But I do ask that going into it, you plan on finishing it. If something happens, like, I'm not gonna hold it against you, but if you could try to plan on it, that'd be awesome. Yeah, so I'll link that below. And then finally, the last thing is, today is Tuesday and I released some new patterns. And so I wanted to just kind of share them with you. So this sweater, it's actually not a new release. I re-released it. I originally released it as part of Taproot Magazine's Tides issue. I think it was number 38, maybe. You could check on their website, but if you wanted the magazine, the whole magazine's great. It's Tides is the one. And this one is called Wash Ashore. And the reason behind the name is, so I live on Cape Cod now, and it's kind of funny, people here are like there's like two kinds of people on Cape Cod. Like you're either born here and raised here and like you're a real Cape Codder, or everyone else who moves here, they call a wash ashore. So my husband moved here when he was like 7, and he grew up here, but even though he was here since he was 7, like they wouldn't consider him like a true Cape Codder. So we're a whole little family of Wash Ashores, and it's just kind of a cute name. So so I named this one Wash Ashore. And this one is knit in On the Rounds, her single ply fingering weight yarn, and it's held double so that it makes like a DK weight. And I think right now she was having some trouble with stocking that fingering weight due to the pandemic. But she's got several other DK weights. I'll list her link below so you can check them out. And so yes, you could do 2 strands of fingering weight or a DK weight, whatever gets your gauge. And basically, I'll show you a little close-up of the yoke here. If you can see, basically the yoke, we have some eyelet sections and then these 1x1 ribbing sections that kind of move down the yoke like this. And then once you hit the bottom of that, you're gonna work to a certain length and then separate for the arms and the body. And the body is cropped and it tapers in slightly. There's a few decreases in the body just to give it a little bit more fitted fit in the body. And the sleeves are long and they're fitted. And it's just a really great like everyday sweater. I wear this one a lot. It's really, sometimes some of my designs can be kind of intricate and I have to be a little more careful about like what I match them with and pair them with. But which sometimes it's fun to knit something more intricate because it kind of shows off your skills. And other times you just want something really simple that is easy to work on. This would definitely be that. And it matches like everything depending on what color you use. So yeah, you can check out this pattern. It's available as an individual download now on Ravelry. And the other one that I released is a new shawl pattern. And I actually did this one in 2 different weights to kind of show off the differences. I'll move back so you can see how big it is. This is the fingering weight version. And it's great. I love a fingering weight shawl. Like it's so lightweight. You can just kind of layer it on top. And this is super wearable and easy. And I designed this because I wanted a really simple, easy to knit shawl that I could like bring to the beach to work on. That was just really easy. I could bring anywhere to work on. I wouldn't have to focus too much. So this one is knit side to side from one end all the way to the other. And basically you're just doing increases along one edge, along the top edge here. And the increases grow and you have some stripes going on. It's all in garter stitch. So you can see that's garter there. So you're knitting every row. You're working increases up to this point here. And then the contrast color, you're gonna work this center diamond here. And all that you're doing for that part is you're gonna be doing some of the German short rows. And I have a link to that in the pattern as well. So you can see the middle there. And so basically you're working here to here, to here, to here, to here, to here, to here. And then when you do the middle section and then you go all the way back up, you work your way back up. And that creates kind of that diamond in the center there. And then you're just going down the other wing. So you're just, instead of increasing along the top edge, you're gonna decrease along the top edge. So it's really simple, easy knitting. Once you get into the flow and you know which rows to increase or decrease on, it's very easy to follow and do. That's the fingering weight version. This one is knit in Neighborhood Fiber Co.'s Studio Sock Yarn, which is just a nice fingering weight sock yarn. Any fingering weight would work great. I know she's gonna have kits up, I think in September. It's gonna be released as part of a group of patterns that they're gonna be highlighting. So look for that, and I'll link to Neighborhood Fiber Co. below so you can check out They have really great, so many colors, fingering weight and DK. And the other one is DK weight that I did, and I'll show you. It's a little bit bigger. It's the same exact pattern. It just turns out a little bigger because it's DK. So this is the DK weight version. Same thing, wraps. You can see it's just a little bit bigger fitting on you. So this would be a great one, you know, more for like being warm and cozy. Same thing going on here. This one I knit up in On the Rounds Everyday DK yarn. You can see it there. And this one is the one that inspired the name. The name of the shawl is Alive and Free. And when I saw these two colors together, I was just obsessed, and I was like, I wanted to use those two colors. I think it's Pickle and Oxidize, I believe, are the names. I know the green is Pickle. I think the blue is Oxidize. And they're just these fun speckled. One is like a lime kind of apple green with speckles, and then there's the light blue with some speckles. And I just think they look gorgeous together. And like this green makes me feel like alive, like it's like plants. Like I love houseplants, I have so many. So the green reminded me of the word alive, and the blue is like so calming and like peaceful and free. So I thought Alive and Free is the perfect name. So yeah, so it's the same pattern. Either way, I give you the yardage amounts and everything for both because they're a little bit different. Yeah, so it's a really great, easy, versatile pattern to work on in the summer. And if you check that out this week only, so if you're watching this in the future, the sale's not gonna apply, but this week only, the Wash Ashore sweater and also the Alive and Free shawls are going to be, the pattern is just $1 on Ravelry. And there are specific coupon codes, one for the sweater, one for the shawl, and a different one for if you wanna get both of them. So I would definitely head over and check that out if that's something you'd be interested in, just saving for later. If you don't have time right now to knit it, but grab it while it's $1. And yeah, so I think that's all that I have planned for today. Yep. So yeah, so thank you again for joining me and for listening in. I hope that that was all kind of fun and lighthearted and helpful and kind of took your mind off things for a little bit. Yeah, if you have any more questions for me, I would love them. You can leave me a comment below or send me a message through the form with your question. If I don't get questions one week, because I've only gotten a few here and there lately, I'm always getting questions on Instagram, so I'll pull those as well, and I'm often get questions through email from knitters as well. So I'll try to grab questions from a variety of places to make sure I get enough to share. And yeah, so thank you for checking in, and I will be back next week with more. Bye.